What's up, guys? Old Lou here. So, this last episode that we have two sessions that I played that we got absolutely rolled in. I didn't get every single bit of film, sadly, and a lot of the hands are kind of shorter. So, I'm going to do the best that I can to illustrate what's happening in the hands. Some of them are just going to be like quick little snippets, some of them are going to be just me talking about them. But sit back, enjoy watching me get crushed. All right, first hand, we look down at the beautiful King, King, Queen, Jack. First hand at this table, and an old Asian guy to my right makes it 35 on a straddle pot. So we're going to bump it up here, obviously with a really strong hand. We make it to 105. Our fiance is sitting right across from us, and we have a player that we've played with before to our left who is pretty action. He folds right away, though, and some of the players from the last vlogs calls on the button, and it gets back to the guy who raised 35, and he pots it. So he's got about $700 in a stack, and he pots it, and I feel like without a double suited hand here, I feel like it is a fold, but I don't know. What would you guys have done in this spot? Because to make matters worse, right after I fold, the flop comes King 10 brick. It goes three ways to the flop, and it runs out clean. I would have won the hand. But with this hand and my stack size, I felt like maybe it was a little too nitty to fold, but I was a little relieved to see that the player to my right had ace, ace, queen, 10. So pre-flop, we were pretty crushed. But let me know what you guys think about this hand. I decided to fold with only 105 in there. It's 500 more to call. This was obviously the start of a downfall. This very next hand, we are in the straddle, and we make it 50. And the player in seat one pots it. And we're loving life because he's got about, $800, $900 in his stack. And we have ace, ace, king, 10 with a suit. So we're definitely looking to play for it all. There's nothing to do here besides getting it all in. And we rip it for, about 1,000 effective. And he snap calls. So I'm guessing he's probably got aces of some sort. Or he's got, kings, hopefully. And the flop comes 4-4 deuce, and he looks pretty upset. Turns a king, and the river is a 3, and he's got a straight. He has 7-7-6-5, and rivers the gutter ball on me. So there we go. Okay, a couple hands after getting stacked, we re-add on. We have back to 1,000. We're in the cutoff with 10-10-9-6, which is a very playable hand in the cutoff. So we're potting it to 40, and we get two calls from the under the gun player who limped and the middle position player who also limped. Sorry about my chip stack kind of being in the way. But the flop is really good for our hand and kind of our range. The flop comes Queen Jack 3 with two diamonds. So we flop an open-ended straight flush draw, and we're looking to get this pot big. So the players are both pretty shallow, and we're just like never folding here. So I bet 75. The under the gun player calls very quickly. He's got about 250, 300, something like that left in his stack. So when we bet pot, he calls. I'm hopefully going to get him to fold here or run my equity. I say pot. Dealer does some calculations, and it comes out to being, I think, 265. So I put 265 out there. The under the gun player thinks for a little while, and he says, F it, and slams it all into the middle. And it's just a little bit more for me to call. So I call, and let's see the run out. It's a 4 of hearts and a 4 of spades. And he somehow very confidently flips over ace jack 10-9. So his pair of jacks wins on both boards, and we get scooped for like right around $500-600 pot. So we look down at ace ace king 6, and the cutoff limps and the very aggressive regular pots it on the button. To I don't know if he actually pots it. I think he makes it 30, and I raise to 110, which is just about the size of a full pot size bet. And he very quickly, without thinking, calls. So when he calls like this, I'm putting him more on like a rundown hand, not a very strong hand, like kind of like a pretty hand, so to say. It's not kings, aces, like queens, like those kind of hands aren't really what I feel like he's calling with here. I feel like he's either going to just fold those or re-raise me, or maybe think for a little longer about a decision pre-flop. So when he just like quickly calls, that's kind of like, I guess, my thought, and it's kind of like a live tell. I've been playing with this guy. I probably played with him 40 hours this week. So when the flop comes down, king 9 deuce with 2 spades, I just decide to c-bet here and blocking top set, blocking top 2 pair, and again he like really quickly calls. So when this is happening, I'm putting him on either a nut flush draw or a wrap of like 10 jack queen, something along those lines. And when the turns of 4 of diamonds, I decide to take the check raise route in this hand. So I check to him, he pots it for 480, and I'm either jamming or folding here. And I'm thinking to myself, what hands does he have here? What hands do I not have a lot of equity against? King with 2 pair with a king with the nut flush draw, obviously. But I feel like with our hand, I feel like we just have way too much equity to fold here, again, especially against this player and like the read that I have on him. I'm kind of just doing like a little bit of accounting to make sure that I'm not going all in for like way too much here. And I decided to just go all in, and it looks like we might have got caught because he snap calls. And I asked him if you want to run it twice. He says once. River is a 7, and he says you're good. So thank God we have top pair, top kicker, or I guess, I'm sorry, aces, and we scoop a big pot, $2,080. So I guess, so actually he does show 10 jack queen with spades. So my read was right, and we got it in really good, obviously. So we're really happy to win this pot here. And believe it or not, we won a hand in this session. I couldn't believe it either. So after being stuck now, we were into the game for $2,800. We now won a $2,080 pot, and we're pretty much all the way back out of the hole. So as we're getting shoved our chips, we are doing a little accounting, and we're thinking to ourselves, hey, maybe we'll get out of this hole today. How about no? So here's a hand I lost the footage of. We have ace king 5-3 with ace king of clubs. We flop the nut flush like 7 ways. We bet the flop for 100, turn for 400, river pairs the board, we get led into, and we have to fold. So lose about 500 this hand. So here's another hand that we lost the footage on. I must have been really drunk or something was wrong, and I kept either misplaying the record button or something, but limps around to us. We're in the straddle. We raise it to 40, which is pot, and the under the gun player calls, button calls. The person in seat 1 decides to pot it to 200, and I repot it. We get it all in, and he won with like a low flush or a straight or something. It was like $800 pot, so not anything too crazy, but obviously wanting to win that one. This hand we look down at ace queen 9-4, which is kind of garbage, but I am pretty deep stack, and the under the gun player is seemingly pretty tight. So when the flop comes, jack 9-3, and we're 3 ways to a flop, and he bets out for 25, and there's a short stack who's just been looking to get it in. He just calls. I'm looking to just get the under the gun player out, run my equity against the short stack for, a $200 or $300 pot, and hopefully just take it down right here. Assuming that the under the gun player is not going to have a lot of strong hands here when we have a queen and the ace high flush draw. So we're blocking a lot of the hands that he can continue with, but he finds a call. So alarm bells are kind of ringing. He definitely could have a set of jacks. Top two pairs kind of hard for him to have. A set of nines is really hard for him to have, especially raising under the gun. So we're mainly putting him on like wrap hands and lower flush draws. So when the turn is the two of diamonds, we turn a gut shot along with our flush draw in our pair, and we decide to pot it and deny all the equity that we can and hopefully get this player to fold. And when he thinks about it this long, I'm guessing that he doesn't have a set, and I'm guessing he has some sort of pair and a draw of some sorts. So could have kings with spades. He could have queen 10-8, king queen 10, and he pretty, I guess not very quickly, but he's kind of doing some accounting, and he decides to go on a call. So looking for a clean river to either bluff or make our hand and hopefully get it all in, but we don't get that. We get the 8 of diamonds, and I feel like this is the worst card in the deck for me to continue on because he's got about $600 left in the stack, and I feel like if I shove here, I'm not there. He's not gonna believe me because the board has changed so much, and a lot of his hands connect with this board. So I could also just be bluffing into the nuts, but that's not what happens, actually. He shows ace-king 7-3. So a pair of threes with the king high flush draw. And he totally owns my soul on this river. Let me know what you guys will think. I feel like, obviously, after I check, I can never call. But what rivers am I going to be continuing blasting on? And if I have jacks, or I do have a set, I'm probably going to check this river so I can induce him to bluff, and I can call as a bluff catcher instead of me potting and I get all of his bluffs and his missed draws to fold. So I guess like against my whole range of like what I'm check raising the flop with, I feel like on this river I'm going to play a check call a lot more than I'm going to play a big bet, hopefully catch a stack. Obviously, if I river the straight and I have a very nutted hand and I'm looking to get called, I'm probably going to bet. But in general, in this spot, I feel like the hands that I'm check raising with, I'm probably going to be checking the river and calling a bet so all of his bluffs can continue. And when I lead, I'm only going to probably get called by a hand that's better than what I have. So that's my thought, and that's why I checked. So let me know what you guys think. It seemed like a detrimental hand to me in the moment because I was assuming that I was going to be able to bluff most rivers, and I felt like that was just like one of the only rivers I couldn't bluff. Let me know what you guys think. This hand, we look down at 7, 8, 9, 10, double suited. It's a beautiful hand, and it's very shortly after the hand before. I raise the 15. I get called in 4 spots. We flop a wrap and a flush draw. Bet, river bricks, I bluff, I get called by a set. Next hand. All right, this next hand we have a bomb pot. We look down at ace, jack, 8, 9. And I started recording right when the flop came. The flop on the top is jack, 7, 3, and the bottom flop is jack, 8, deuce. So on the top board, we have a pair, a gut shot, and a flush draw. And the bottom board, we have top 2 pair. So the turn comes a 10 of hearts, giving us the nut straight with the flush redraw. And the bottom board comes a 8, giving us a full house. So on the bottom, we have the best possible hand because there's a jack on the top board. So I'm not really scared of like any cards. So I check and I kind of like give them some rope. And, we're looking to get as many people into this hand as we can. And it seems like the only person who's really looking interested into this pot is the person on the button. So we just check. The button pots it, and we decide to just call and hopefully let somebody else into the hand. And this is where it gets a little interesting. They both fold, so now it is actually heads up with the button to a river of a king of clubs and a king of diamonds. We check to him, and we are obviously just going to call. He pots it, and I snap call, and we get the bad news. We get scooped. He's got king, king, queen, 9. So we lose it all. All right, and this is our last hand. So we look down at the beautiful king, king, 10, 7. And a very active player in the cutoff makes it 20. And we have about $530 left in our stack. So looking to build this pot. If we want to get it all in against a very active player, double suited kings, I'm looking to get it in here. So, especially kind of short stacked. So I make it 75. Big blind calls. And the player in the cutoff repots it. So he's probably got aces, but I am down like $5,000 in this game or more, and I am not folding double suited kings right now. So I stick my 530 into the middle, and it feels like what is an eternity. This old guy to my left is thinking about calling pre-flop. So yeah, so I mean, we're looking to get as many people into this pot as we can if the player on the cutoff has aces. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of flops that we're pretty much dead on to a king. But with the double suited, as long as our suits aren't covered by his aces, I'm going to be pretty happy with getting it in here. And if you can't tell, that's probably about the 6th Corona. They are the ultimate, I guess, bad beat juice. I like to drink them. The bad beats don't hurt as much. If you guys are running bad, have a Corona or two. It will help out. So we're going 3 ways to the flop. We got about, I think the player to my left had me covered by a little bit. Sorry, this is a really long hand. I didn't realize how long this was going to take. But moral of the story on this trip was we got absolutely shamrocked. Everything that was going well at the beginning didn't go well. I lost so much footage. It was just so tilting. I had so many huge bomb pots go the other way, and of course I looked down and it's like my phone's off. So overall on this trip, it was just really brutal. So this is what the last hand of our entire trip. Let's see if we can hit. And the flop is sick. We flop a double gutter with the second nut flush draw. So we're running it. We turn a pair of 10s, and we river 2 pair. So against aces, he says naked aces. We're ecstatic. Then the player on our left shows ace, jack, 10, 8. So has a better 2 pair than us. GG's, we're out. So that's going to wrap it up for the last vlog. I'm actually finishing this up the day before I'm going up to Canada for a boat and fishing trip. So we have a cabin that we're staying on that we take a boat to an island, and we're staying there for a week. It's just me and my grandpa. I'm really looking forward to doing that and just getting away from some poker. A lot of lessons learned in the last few weeks. I finally recovered from my $15,000 to $20,000 downswing. It didn't really take that long. It took like about a month, but I tell you what, it was a grueling month. And these times of up and downs and, you know, everything like that, they're really hard if you don't have somebody there with you. My fiance, Kiana's over the top supportive and has been nothing but a blessing in the times where I'm having a lot of doubts about myself, having a lot of doubts about my game. One of my best friends. He is the best PLO player I've ever played with, and I get to play with him almost every day at Oneida, and he crushes my soul. But he is also there for me on the times where it's not going my way. He has the best advice and the best knowledge and the best, I guess, just words of wisdom from somebody who is a lot better than you at the game to keep me motivated to keep coming back, keep me motivated to keep getting better, and also to handle these variance swings, because this game is just the most brutal game ever. If you think Texas Hold'em is hard, like, I guess variance wise, I feel like it's nothing compared to what PLO can do to you. It's a whole new monster, but the love of the game is still there for me, and I feel like I'm just more motivated than ever to be the best at this. I got to work on figuring out where I can film and getting somewhere where I can create more content and try to get some better editing skills, because like I watch other people and I'm like, wow, their vlogs are sweet. Mine suck ass. Because I have no clue how to edit and I have no clue how to do any of this stuff. I am not a computer guy. So I'm either going to hire an editor to edit these videos, or I got to take a class or something. So stay tuned for what's coming next. And that's it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little 3-clip vlog. My next one hopefully should be coming in the next week or two. We will talk to you guys later. See ya.